TF2 is a game full of mysteries and urban legends. Today we'll be looking at an iceberg chart. Basically, if you don't know what an iceberg chart is, it's a tier list, but instead of rating things from worst to best, you rate things from most known to most unknown. This video took a really long time to make, so I would appreciate a sub. Also, if this video reaches 1000 likes, I'll create another iceberg with more interesting things, because there are so many rabbit holes in TF2 that you can really dive into and find out a lot of interesting information. Either way, let's get into the iceberg. Rick May. Rick May was the voice actor for the soldier who sadly passed away last year. He was a legend and he will never be forgotten. In game, there were several statues placed in his memory. He was truly a legend that the community will never forget. When Rick May passed, it was a very depressing time for the TF2 community, and lots of people mourned. However, the impact he left in our community and the legendary voice lines he made for the soldier, he'll live on forever. Random crits aren't actually random. Now, this is something that I personally found out pretty recently. Random crits aren't random. You get random crits based on your impact on the game. So if you're playing really well, you're actually likely to get more random crits if you're playing really badly. Now, this is pretty misleading calling them random crits when they aren't really random. Muzilk. Muzilk was a TF2 YouTuber, one of the best in fact. He was one of the biggest TF2 YouTubers and he was making heaps of content on almost a daily basis. He was most known for his series Try Hard Tuesday and for his amazing soldier skills. However, eventually Muzilk decided to make Overwatch content. The TF2 community hated that and said he was jumping onto trends. Muzilk amassed a lot of hate from the TF2 community and a lot of spite. However, in my opinion, he can play with the games he wants. Currently, he makes Fortnite content. Sadly, it is a little clickbaity, but still, he can do what he wants and this is his career. The sniper is actually from New Zealand. Now, a lot of people think the sniper is from Australia. However, if you look into the lore, he was actually born in New Zealand. Now, don't get me wrong, he was raised in Australia, so he's basically an Australian, but he is from New Zealand. Casual bots. Sadly, if you've been TF2 lately, you'll notice there is a lot of bots that roam around casual. These are people who are running bots from their computers to ruin the game. I feel like I don't need to explain this too much as we've all seen the bots running around. Get good, get Lamalbox. This is the exact line you'd see spammed in the TF2 chat when someone tries to use Lamalbox without paying for it. I haven't seen this recently, but I used to see this all the time. People would join games, spam this, and kill everyone until they got kicked. I've also heard of rumors of accounts getting deleted and banned because they said this even though they weren't actually cheating. So be careful when saying this in game because it could get your account banned. Kitty0706. Kitty0706 was one of the most legendary TF2 animators in the world. He created lots of Gmod videos that were entertaining to millions. Now, unfortunately, Kitty0706 lost the battle to cancer and he passed away several years ago. However, his work and his memories have not, they have remained in the community. Everyone in the TF2 community loves Kitty0706 and remembers them with all their heart. Even people who weren't around in the TF2 community when he was, look at his old videos and respect him for what he did, and the impact he had on TF2's animations and community. He created some of the best Gmod animations ever, and it was a deep loss for the community when he passed. RD_asteroid. Now, this is a map that people haven't seen for a very long time. This was a TF2 map based in space, where you had diverse robots. Now, I don't think this map is being able to be played anymore. However, it was once there and I'll post some images on screen of what it looked like. It was very interesting, and a lot of people still know about it, but some people don't. The sniper's scar. If you look at the sniper, he has a scar on his cheek. The scar was actually caused by the spy in the Meet the Sniper video. I'll play the clip for you. I know, interesting how part of the animation actually affects the game. Really cool and good Easter egg from Valve. Telefragging. Telefragging is the ability to kill someone by simply just going in a teleporter. This happens when someone from the enemy team is standing on your teleporter and you go through it and then directly on top of them. This will kill them instantly, and honestly it's pretty funny when you get it, but it is a rare occurrence. Friendlies. Friendlies are a community in Team Fortress 2 who vow not to damage other players, of course unless they damage them first. You usually see them running around as heavy with their fists out, or even sometimes as a spy with the sapper out. The breed of friendlies is getting rarer and rarer in the TF2 community as people kill them and make them more angry and more angry. Eventually, friendlies will die out, due to the players just not giving them a chance to live. Personally, if you kill friendlies, you should just stop, because they aren't affecting you. Trimping. Trimping is the act of going as Demo Knight and charging against a surface that's on a slight angle. Doing this will send you into the air. One of the best trimpers is known as Solarlight. He's a Demo Knight main, and he's insane at it. He's almost mastered it, and he's able to travel across the map faster than a soldier or a scout does. A lot of people assume that soldier and scout are the fast classes, but if you look at some trimping, you'll soon change your mind. Here's a clip of an example of trimping. The Fat Scout. Now, a lot of people know about the Fat Scout, right? It's the heavy with the shotgun. But I've actually ran into a surprising amount of people who actually don't know about the Fat Scout, and it's a pretty cool part of TF2. So basically, if you go heavy and equip the shotgun and don't use your minigun, you can turn into the Fat Scout. Make sure you equip your gloves running urgently though, so you can get that extra speed. Now, you're basically the scout but slower and overweight. The Cheater's Lament. This hat was awarded on September 2nd, 2009 to all the TF2 players who had not used external idling programs and had played the game since the introduction of the item drop system. So basically, as soon as the item drop system came out, people started idling the game, basically meaning they would stay in a game for a long time to basically get unlimited items. However, a short while later, Valve awarded all the people who did not do this with a free hat. SV_pure. SV_pure is the thing stopping us from using custom things in games, such as custom skins or custom weapon animations. This is something TF2 introduced in the game to make it more vanilla, and to avoid people from using this to create cheats such as wall hacks. However, if you go on some community servers, you'll see that SV_pure is actually disabled, so you can use your custom things. The red tape recorder. When the red tape recorder's sound is slowed down, you'll hear a sentence. Quite a mysterious sentence actually. The sentence says, "Let's make some noise." This is a rumor and a thing that's been going around the TF2 community for a while. It's pretty interesting that Valve hides these things in the game. You wonder what other sounds are out there that we haven't explored yet, which have secret messages, which could lead to something. The TF2 player count. Now this is something that is really interesting. After the amount of time that TF2's been out, after the 13 years or 14 years or so, TF2's player count has all of a sudden started to surge. Now, a lot of people have blamed this on bots and on cheaters making new accounts, but that's simply not true. TF2 is having some sort of resurgence in popularity, and people are starting to play the game again. Now, don't get me wrong, there are hundreds of accounts which are used for trading sites, which are just bots and stuff, but they don't hang out in game, and there's not enough of them to even impact the number at all. TF2 just seems to be having a good run recently, and most of the rumors about it are false. The scrapped 10th class. Now this is a rumor that has been going around for years now. Apparently there was a 10th class for Team Fortress 2, and that class wasn't even human. In fact, that class was a dog. Now this is interesting, very interesting, but there is a lot of proof that backs up this. And I'll put some photos on the screen of what it would have looked like. Pretty interesting that they even considered putting a dog in Team Fortress 2. What do you think? Should they add a dog class in Team Fortress 2 so you can run around, bite people, and shoot them with the little gun on your back? I don't know, but the dog class definitely sounds interesting and would be a cool support class. Or even DPS. This is something that not many people know about, that's why it's in the strange section. Now guys, the soldier is a lawyer. I know, it sounds pretty bizarre, but if you look at the TF2 comics, the soldier was actually a lawyer. I know, pretty crazy, right? Linux fact bans. Now, Linux fact bans is an incredible rumor, and it's just such a weird thing. Basically, the TF2 version that runs on Linux doesn't have a working VAC system, so people can go on Linux and run TF2 and do whatever they want with no consequences. Now, I think part of this is due to Linux, how they have lots of open source and how they don't like people looking through their files, but this is definitely something that should not be going on. Now, I made a video a couple of days ago discussing if Linux was good or bad for TF2. I highly recommend you go check that out because it had a lot of information, and if you're interested in finding out more, that's your next step. Detonator jumping. Now, a lot of people actually don't know about this, but the Pyro, he can do his own rocket jumps, and pretty well. So as the Pyro, when you equip the detonator, if you click below your feet and click left and right click really fast while holding control, you can actually detonate a jump. Now this is a really useful thing to use in game. It is a bit of a gimmick, but I personally use it quite a bit and I find it pretty fun. Now we're in the vintage section. This is where stuff starts to get pretty real. TF2 gambling sites. Now, TF2 gambling sites aren't what they seem. Behind the scenes, they have their own little fights. Personally, I will be making a video on this in the future, but there's some gambling sites which all basically talk shit about each other and make rumors to stop people from being sponsored from other sites. The main two sites involved in this were TF2 Hunt and TF2 Blaze, both of which would make rumors about the other sites saying how bad they were and saying they were scams, while in the end, they were both saying similar things about each other. And it just seemed like they didn't want people to go to the other site. It really showed the desperation of this business, and why it shouldn't be trusted. The invisible heavy. A while ago there was a glitch found where you could make the heavy invisible. This would cause you to have a heavy running around the game, killing people when no one could see him. Now luckily this was patched, but here's a clip of it actually happening. Meet the Spy was actually leaked. Now on May the 17th, 2009, due to a bug in YouTube that allowed iPhones to view videos marked as private, someone found the Meet the Spy video, and they released it. It was pretty crazy that a private video was actually leaked from YouTube, and that YouTube allowed people to view it. However, TF2 eventually publicized the video because other people just started reposting it. But still, not many people know that Meet the Spy was actually leaked a long time ago. Needle jumping. Needle jumping was an exploit on the console version of Team Fortress 2. This involved the player standing over a medic who then proceeded to shoot their syringe gun upwards as the player jumped. Due to a physics error, the syringe gun's needles would propel the target upwards, causing him to fly. However, I have personally never seen this exploit happening, but here's a video of it. The Demoman's PDA. The Demoman PDA is a scrapped PDA weapon for the Demoman. The only reference to its existence is in the engine code within the code for the game stat parsing. Checking that code, the name PDA Demoman can be found within a string array of internal weapon names. No one truly knows what this weapon would have done or how it could have been used, but the fact it was once created is very interesting. The Venture Bros TF2 promo. Now, this is a video that was created by Adult Swim promoting Team Fortress 2. Extremely high quality 15-second animation. I'll just play it for you. I think that in itself explains it. TF2 was going to have an Adult Swim series, but it never did. But that's another story for another time. The TF2 Raid Game Mode. The Raid Mode is an experimental game mode that was being tested for Team Fortress 2. In this game mode, players would be on a 5-man blue team, and red enemy bots would attack them from any possible location, while players attempt to push through hordes of robots, much like in Left 4 Dead. Development for this game mode started in November 2009, which is also the month Left 4 Dead 2 was released, November the 17th, 2009. The development was being done by Mike Booth, the person behind the AIs in the Left 4 Dead series, TF Bots and Man vs Machine. Madcap. This is something that I don't know much about, but it is a creepypasta revolving around the Scout, and seeing him randomly on maps that have no players in them. Now, I can't really say more about this, but if you want to find out more, just simply search Madcap, and you'll find out a whole creepypasta revolving it. Gang Garrison 2. This was a remake of Team Fortress 2 but in a side-scroller mode. There are still some websites you can play this on, however, it can be hard to get onto, and there's a lot of fake versions out there. But once you get it, it's pretty fun, and you can play as the Team Fortress 2 classes. Gambling sites scams. So basically there's a lot of fake gambling sites out there, which they'll message you on Steam and ask you to promote their gambling site by putting their name in your profile picture. Then what they'll say is they'll say that they can rig the gambling so you can win every time. But once you do that and once you put your items on that site, your items are gone and most likely your account too. This is one of the most notorious scams lately in Team Fortress 2 and it's something that everyone needs to be aware of. Capture the flag Harvest. Now what more can I say? Harvest used to be Capture the Flag. I know it's pretty crazy since it's a King of the Hill map, but it was a Capture of the Flag map and you can play it as Capture of the Flag. However, it is pretty hard to find and you won't find any servers running it. Comments in TF2's code. Now, if you look deep into the TF2's code, you'll find many comments from the developers, and it seems like they're honestly having a mental breakdown. A lot of aggressive comments, a lot of comments questioning other people's actions, and more. This was presented in a video by Shaunik, and I really liked the video he made, so if you want to find out more about it, check it out for yourself. Personally, I'll leave this one for you to more investigate, as it's more funny than serious. However, a lot of people still don't know about it because of how well hidden it is in the code. The TF2 Scout is actually a child predator. Now, if you look at the Scout's item, the track terrorizer, and you read the description, you'll find out something very disturbing about the Scout. Here's what it said. For a brief stint in high school, Scout joined the track team. In one of his many schemes to pick up girls, he was kicked off the team after 3 days when everyone realized he was a 23-year-old and not enrolled in the school. So guys, the Scout is a predator. Now, luckily this is just the character in game, this is not the voice actor or anything, but it's pretty crazy the fact that canonically, he actually is. A lot of people don't know about this, but it's pretty disturbing, right? Manco.store isn't actually a scam. So there was plenty of rumors going around that Manco.store was owned by scammers and that the site was a scam. However, that was wrong, and it was proven that Jill, the owner of Marketplace.tf, Backpack.tf, and Scrap.tf, was spreading false rumors to try to take out his competition. Now, I'd say it's a pretty dirty attempt of making a monopoly, but the rumors are starting to get out, and with that, the truth about his websites and the dark histories. So guys, just letting you know, Manco.store is not a scam, and this video is not sponsored by them in any way, but if you're going to use any trading website, use theirs, alright? Spiky Mikey promoted gambling. Now, this is something I found out about quite a while ago. A TF2 YouTuber Cinnabar created a video calling out Spiky Mikey for promoting TF2 gambling sites. Now, I'll give you this was a very long time ago, but it happened, and this is something that no one really knows or really expected from him. Now, trust me, everyone makes mistakes, and it's clear that Spiky Mikey is a good person and wouldn't do this ever again. And this isn't out there to spread any rumors about him or anything. It's just something interesting which not many people know about. Now, since then, he hasn't even promoted gambling once, and he made several videos talking about gambling and how it's not good for the game. So good on Spiky Mikey for that. Now, Doomsday.exe. Doomsday.exe was a TF2 YouTuber who blew up in fame really quickly. Within a year, he went almost from 1,000 subs to like 40,000 subs. He grew so fast that it was unbelievable. He made TF2 drama-based content, and I was actually a big fan of him. And earlier on, I actually made a video with him. Sadly, Doomsday got a bit worn out of the TF2 content, and he stopped making content as often, until he eventually faded out of existence. He was personally one of my favorite TF2 YouTubers, so I really hope he comes back, as he seems like a decent guy. But sadly, due to the community, he stopped enjoying making content so much, and has moved on to other artistic things, such as taking photography of surveillance cameras. Now, this is a weird, obscure passion, but it's pretty cool that he's doing his own thing. The .tf sites are run by pedos. Now, this is one of the darkest things in the TF2 community by far. The sites such as Scrap.tf, Marketplace.tf, Backpack.tf, and Scrap.tf are run by a pedophile, Jesse Cardone. And there's been a few videos made in the past exposing them. And last year, the co-owner of Scrap.tf and all these sites was actually arrested from the police with a warrant, as he was in possession of child porn. You know what I'm talking about. There's something that not many people know about, or people who know about try to just ignore it, or try to put it to the side. But it's a dark fact which has been creeping up on everyone for the past few years. There have been several victims who have came out from the staff team, and there's been videos made documenting all of it, and Google Docs documenting all the evidence. The evidence is extremely strong, and the owners of these sites are yet to defend themselves. But by checking the public record for Jesse Cardone, you can see that the police were successful in their attempt of getting a warrant on him, which, to say the least, is interesting. The Sawmill Cryptid. Now this is a pretty scary rumor that has been going around the TF2 community for a while now. The rumor is if you go on that Sawmill map alone, with no bots, no plays or anything, that there's a chance that you'll run into a beast. A frog to be exact. And it's pretty creepy, alright, because when you're playing a game offline and alone, you expect to be offline and alone, and seeing things move and seeing creatures is not something that will make you feel very comfortable or safe. So if you are interested, I highly recommend you do go on Sawmill alone while in offline mode to find out for yourself. It is pretty creepy, but try to stand in the waterfall section, and maybe you'll just run into Sawmill Cryptid. The Holiday Puncherinos event. This was a tragic event, and it was an event that Valve even promoted themselves. The Holidays Puncherinos was a community event where it would be a team of heavies going against another team of heavies, a holiday punch, to celebrate Christmas. Now this was in 2020, so it was pretty recent. It turned out that this event was actually stealing donations and trying to get as much money as they possibly could. It was pretty bad, and there was a video made exposing them, in fact several videos made. This definitely was a big mistake on Valve's side. They promoted a scam, and there's a lot more information you can find out about this, but I'd highly recommend you check out my video, which will be linked in the description about it. It is definitely a pretty dark topic that happened pretty recently. Never alone. Now this is something which has always scared me in Team Fortress 2. The thought that you are never alone. There's been a lot of rumors of ghosts in Team Fortress 2, or just mysterious figures. This usually happens when you're trying to play alone Team Fortress 2, whether you load up onto Scunt Gang, and just playing alone, or just trying to practice rocket jump or anything just like that. The fact that if you look in the corners of the screens or in the hallways ahead of you, there's a chance you'll see something moving. Now this will give you an extremely unsettling feeling, as just like with the Somo cryptid thing, you don't expect to see things when you're playing by yourself. Now, there's been lots of different figures and stuff seen on different maps. It's pretty scary. And if you don't believe this, I recommend you go try it for yourself. Get in a map by yourself and really just have a look around. Look in the distance, look at the corner of your screen, look at doors moving, and just see what you can find, because I promise you, there are some weird things that happen in the game that just can't be explained. Now, yeah, there have been several stories from individuals in the community saying their experiences finding players who weren't meant to be in their game when they were playing by themselves. It's really weird. People have found soldiers that were looking undead. They've even just seen weird figures in the corner of their screen, or just they've looked in the sky and seen something flying that they didn't expect to see, which realistically shouldn't happen. Just things that can't be explained are pretty creepy, hence why it's in the Hail Zone section. Uncle Dane was an actor. Now, Uncle Dane, known as Dane Kevin Cook, born in 1992, was the lead cinematographer and actor for Super Mario Bros. And the owner and founder of his own successful YouTube channel, Random Productions. He's played a handful of characters in Super Mario Bros., but his main role was Ash Ketchum. After Dane asked Rich Alvarez to play a different role, he created the character of Stephen Bauer. Due to reasons that Dane called creative differences, he quit, which meant that he would never appear in a Super Mario Bros. Video again. Sketchek's death. Now, Sketchek is a Pyromain TF2 YouTuber who once faked his death. Now, he made a couple of videos stating that he had a serious terminal illness and that he was going to die. And then, all of a sudden, he stopped uploading. Now, it was revealed that he actually faked his death, and then he started making videos again. But the fact he did this was pretty disgusting, especially with the death that had gone around in the TF2 community previously, and around similar times. It was definitely something very poor to joke about or to even say it at all, as people genuinely felt horrible, and even Valve renamed the Extinguisher's description in remembrance of Sketchek. Now, that's pretty crazy that even Valve caught the attention of this, and even they did something. But it turned out that Sketchek was just faking it all. Whether it was for attention, I don't know. But eventually he came back and grew a following pretty quickly, and many people don't even remember the fact that he faked his death in the first place. It's still a mystery buried on the internet. Now, the Scunt Gang never died. Scunt Gang was a meme I created a couple of weeks back that was quick to annoy the community. It was a meme where people were encouraged to comment Scunt Gang, like, and subscribe other people's videos. Then, I ended up putting a halt to the meme. I told everyone to stop. But the true fact is that people are continuing it. And there's still people out there with the Scunt Gang profile picture name and who still comment Scunt Gang on most posts. It's pretty interesting to see the meme continuing on its own. Heck, there'll probably be comments on this video saying Scunt Gang themselves. Very interesting, and something I created. Now here's the last entry on this iceberg. This is the Wacky Dane Show. This was an old series created by Uncle Dane, I think 8 years ago now. In this series, there was a character called Wacky Dane, who was played by Uncle Dane himself. And it's pretty weird, alright? He's dancing, he's saying racist jokes, he's just all sorts of things that if he did right now, you'd probably get cancelled for. But to be honest, his videos were pretty funny, especially if you consider the humor that was made back then. You could definitely see a lot of potential in him, and the editing was pretty good as well. Either way guys, that'll be it for this iceberg. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe if you found out anything new or that you liked. And yeah, it's pretty crazy that all this information is floating around the TF2 community and how much of it is actually unheard of. Now, if this video does get 1000 likes, I will make another TF2 iceberg. Probably with a lot more interesting things, since I couldn't possibly cover everything in this video. Either way guys, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you all later. Have an amazing day.